I never thought that at 34 years old, my life could take a turn this bitter. Everything started on a windy Friday afternoon, when I decided to stop by my house after work to surprise my wife. We'd been married for 6 years. Ups and downs, arguments here and there. But never once did I suspect she could betray me. Samantha had always been gentle, calm, sometimes complicated, yes, but still someone I believed would always tell me the truth no matter what. But I was wrong. I parked in front of the house and immediately sensed something was off. The garage door was cracked open, her car parked inside, but the lights in the house were all off. A heavy silence hung over the quiet suburban neighborhood. I assumed she might be napping or out for a walk. But when I walked up to the front door and tested it, it wasn't locked. Then I heard something, not a loud noise or shouting but laughter. A familiar yet unsettling laugh. A low, intimate tone. A laugh Samantha had never once used around me. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. I didn't want to believe what I was thinking. Maybe a friend had stopped by. Maybe something unexpected happened. But then Max, Jake's dog, came running down from upstairs barking like crazy. Max never came here unless someone brought him. And Jake never brought him over without telling me. Why was Max here? Why was Samantha laughing like that? Why wasn't the door locked? I walked up the stairs. Each step felt like a weight dragging me under. Halfway up, the voices got clearer, but it wasn't Jake's voice. It was deeper, rougher. It was Anthony's voice, Jake's older brother. The guy I'd never seen Samantha be close to. Anthony was the handsome, reckless, thrill-seeking type women admired from afar. I always thought he was unstable, unserious, always chasing things that didn't belong to him. When I reached the top of the stairs, I already knew exactly what was happening. I didn't need to open the bedroom door. I didn't need to see anything. The sounds, the muffled moans, the heavy breathing, the subtle rhythmic movements, stabbed straight into my chest like cold steel. I froze in front of the half-open door. My mind was spinning. One part of me wanted to kick the door open, punch Anthony in the face, drag Samantha out and scream. But another part, the painful, rational part, told me to stand still. Because if I walked in, I'd have to face a truth I still prayed was wrong. In the end, I pushed the door open. And everything collapsed. Samantha gasped, her face turning pale. Anthony shot up so fast it was almost pathetic. No one could speak. The room smelled like sweat, candles, and betrayal. All I could manage to say was, "Why?" Samantha cried. Anthony stammered. But I didn't hear anything. My ears buzzed. My chest felt crushed. I turned around, walked downstairs, and left everything behind. All that was once my family. Outside, I tried to breathe. Max followed me, standing next to me as if he could sense the pain inside me. I stroked his head, but my mind was nowhere. Why Anthony? Why my best friend's brother? Someone I treated like family. What pushed Samantha to him? I didn't know. But I knew one thing. From that moment on, my life would never be the same. I drove to Jake's house. I didn't plan to tell him anything, the situation was too insane, but Max was still with me, and I wasn't going to leave him there. When Jake opened the door, he saw Max first, then looked at my face, and immediately knew something terrible happened. "What's going on? Dude, you look destroyed," he asked. I couldn't lie. I couldn't hide it. I told him, "Samantha, she's with Anthony. In my house. In my bed." Jake froze. I had never seen him so shocked. "My brother? Anthony?" he repeated. Then he punched the wall so hard his knuckles split and bled. "That piece of crap. And Samantha, she did that to you." I nodded. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I felt like all the life had been drained out of me. Jake took me inside. We sat on the couch in silence until he finally said, "You know, I always felt something off about Anthony. But I never thought he'd do this to you or to me. Samantha too. I thought she loved you." I let out a bitter laugh. So did I. But then something happened, something I never expected, that changed everything about the story. Jake picked up his phone, opened an app, and turned the screen toward me. "I think you need to see this." It was a long message thread between Samantha and Anthony, going back months. Not just about sex. Not just about sneaking around. But about me. Insults. Mockery. They called me too trusting. Too gentle. Easy to control. A safe choice, not real love. My stomach twisted. But the worst part, the part that nearly made me sick, was reading. If I leave him, I'll wait until the financial situation is stable. Financial situation? I had worked 10 years to build our home. I paid our bills. I supported Samantha every step of the way. And she reduced all of that to some kind of business plan. Jake clenched his jaw. You needed to know everything. This didn't start a few weeks ago. They planned this. I couldn't speak. I had no emotions left to explode with, only a vast emptiness. But Jake wasn't done. He sighed deeply. There's something else. You need to prepare yourself. He opened a video security camera footage, showing Samantha entering Anthony's house multiple times while I was on business trips, sometimes staying overnight. Worse, there were clips of them going together to a women's clinic. My heart nearly stopped. My brain refused to process it. A single question screamed inside me. Is the baby she's been talking about even mine? Jake lowered his eyes. I'm sorry, man. I stood up. My hands were ice cold. Shock turned to pain. Pain turned to anger. And anger turned into a quiet, deadly clarity. I couldn't stay silent anymore. I couldn't be manipulated anymore. I went home. When I walked in, Samantha was on the couch crying, begging, apologizing, blaming Anthony, saying it was a mistake. But when I asked her, is the baby even mine? She fell silent. And that silence killed any possibility of forgiveness. Anthony arrived minutes later, face bruised from Jake punching him. He tried to talk, but I didn't care anymore. I didn't need excuses. I needed freedom. So I said one thing. You two deserve each other. I don't belong in this mess. I grabbed my keys, walked out, and slammed the door behind me. I didn't cry. Tears couldn't fix anything. That night, I moved back into my old apartment from before the marriage. The first night alone, I stared at the ceiling and thought about how my entire life had taken a brutal turn. But in that darkness, a strange clarity emerged. I realized something I'd never understood before. Sometimes the biggest betrayal is actually the escape you needed. Had I not discovered the truth, I might have spent my entire life living a lie. I texted Jake. Thanks. At least I still have one honest person. He replied almost instantly. You always have me. I'm on your side. Always. I smiled, the first real smile in a long time. My life had fallen apart, yes. But from those ruins, I knew I could rebuild a stronger, more honest version of myself. As for Samantha and Anthony, they entered each other's lives through lies. And I believe one day, the truth will come back to them in ways they can't escape. But that's no longer my story. The day I walked out of that house was the day I walked into a new life. A life with no room for people who treat love like a game.